Now to the latest in the Nolan Wells case. This afternoon, an attorney is looking to obtain information from all of the 18-year-old's social media accounts, including his messages and posts. That's according to our partners at the Sun Herald. They report attorney Gary Bufkin filed subpoenas from all of his social media accounts and his account on location tracking app Life 360 in hopes of finding more information on what happened before Wells was found dead off the coast of Horn Island in Mississippi. That's after a boating trip with some friends. Some of the information subpoenaed includes IP addresses connected to the account's activity, all passwords, and all conversations. This comes after Bufkin sent intent to sue letters to Wells's friend.
What happened to Nolan? Now, his mother, Christine, says when her son's phone was brought to the family, they had concerns because there were no pictures or videos on either of his Snapchat accounts. We've been trying to figure it out, but we're seeing through a mirror darkly. We don't know. But according to experts, a trail will be left if anything has been deleted, even if you delete it from the deleted file. Now, joining us, special guest, Brandon Tatum. You know him well. He's a former police officer with Tucson PD. That's what impresses me. What impresses a lot of other people is he is the star of The Officer Tatum. Officer Tatum, thank you for being with us tonight. Question to you. You interviewed, as we played at the get-go, several of Nolan's friends. Did they show you photos, videos, snaps of that day on Horn Island?
Well, Nancy, thank you so much for having me on. I spoke to four of the boys that are originally accused of being involved in Nolan Wells' death, and they did show me a lot of evidence.
Did they show you photos, videos, snaps of that day on Horn Island?
I want people to be very clear with this. I spent my career putting people in jail. My career is based on getting justice for people who have been done wrong. I've never been a defense attorney. So me going out and doing this was to find out what happened to Nolan Wells. And in talking to these young men, the burden of proof is they're going to have to prove to me. I'm not going to listen to what they say out of their mouth. They're going to have to show me. And in many cases, they showed me videos of Nolan on the island. They showed me videos of the boat when they were getting towed out, which is consistent with, you know, kind of similar to what the phone call was. I mean, they showed me pictures of them with Nolan. They showed me phone records of them calling Nolan's mom and all of the above. So they seem consistent. They seem very genuine. And they also proved to me some of the things that they had told me in the interview that I had with them that I have uploaded on my YouTube channel.
Officer Tatum, are you telling me that they had reception on Horn Island? Because many people are saying, well, the reason that there's nothing on Nolan's phone of that day, like there's no pictures, there's no snaps, there's no text, there's no anything, not because it was deleted, but because he didn't have reception. But you're telling me the other boys did have snaps, photos, videos, and reception?
Yeah, no, Nancy, let me clarify.
YouTube, welcome back, gang, to another episode of Tay Wizzle Reactions as we make our way to 250 subscribers. Gotta thank you all for tapping into the channel, showing me y'all love and support is really appreciated. And if you want to catch me live, go to tiktok.com/TayWizzle276 at 8 a.m. Or you can go to twitch.tv/TayWizzleTV at 5 p.m. kick.com/TayWizzle at 5 p.m. every day except for Saturdays. Got any clips you want to send me? Go ahead and throw that in the community, or you can drop that in the DM any one of my social media platforms. Today, man, we got a special video for y'all, man. A satisfying video for some of us, and sort of an update on the Nolan Wells case. Now, as some of you may know, previously, Brandon Tatum basically had an interview with Nolan Wells' white friend. supposedly the friends that was with him on Horn Island right before his death. Now, if you don't know, Nolan Wells is the black boy that was hanging with white kids in Mississippi, allegedly dealing with white women, and he came up missing on 4th of July after partying with white friends, which they came back and he didn't. So yeah, Officer Tatum has warned, I can't remember his last name, but he was one of the friends of Nolan Wells, with Nolan Wells the day of his death. And he was on the Officer Tatum show to be what seemingly seems like to tell what happened. But we all know better. Officer Tatum really had him on that show to try to make him look good in the black community's eyes and to clear his name. Why? Because Brandon Tatum is a fucking Uncle Tom. He is what we call a black white supremacist. He black, but he got the ideals of a white supremacist. And where some people call him scum, and others like me call him lower than scum. But no matter which way is up or down for this fuck turd, he seemingly have gotten a nice healthy serving of his own fucking medicine. And it's about time. And ironically, it came from one of the people that he ass kisses, a white woman. And see, this how it always happened for the bootlickers. As soon as you done licking they boot, they send one of their own in to remind your ass of your place. Nancy Grace had him on her show as a guest to get some clarification of the interview between Officer Tatum and Nolan Wells' friends. But it quickly turned into an interrogation because Nancy Grace noticed some inconsistencies coming from Officer Tatum. And they say that Nancy Grace was a former prosecutor, and it makes sense because she began to prosecute. And man, was he looking bad. Man, was he embarrassed. Stuttering, didn't know which way to go, what to say. I know his handlers is pissed the fuck off, but at the same time, I'm not even going to get into too much details because I want you all to see it for yourself. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. The title of today's video was called Nancy Grace Destroys Officer Tatum Over Nolan Wells. Shout out to Big Kish. That's where I got the clips now. Let's jump straight into it. As always, if you like the content, don't be too shy to hit that like and subscribe button. Get notified when I drop a new video or when I'm updating y'all on the old one. That's right.
Officer Tatum, are you telling me that they had reception on Horn Island? Because many people are saying, well, the reason that there's nothing on Nolan's phone of that day, like there's no pictures, there's no snaps, there's no text, there's no anything, not because it was deleted, but because he didn't have reception. But you're telling me the other boys did have snaps, photos, videos, and reception?
Yeah, no, Nancy, let me clarify this for you.
Don't stutter now, ninja. Don't stutter now.
No.
Former prosecutor with nearly a decade of courtroom experiences. Former prosecutor. Nancy Grace is a former prosecutor. Rage Tatum just said he never played a defense. That lets you know he's trying to defend the boys. Check it out, y'all.
It wasn't that they uploaded this online. They showed me videos and things that they took from the boat during the outing on 4th of July. I was personally out at Horn Island. I rode out there on a boat, and I didn't have great reception there. And I left my phone in the boat when I got into the water and we were actually going out to do interviews.
Objection. You've been in court long enough to know you're going to get objections. You said you
she's not playing.
didn't have great reception, but you did have reception, did you not?
No, there was reception there. It just wasn't great, and it wasn't great enough for people, in my opinion, to upload. You can make a phone call, potentially, but you wasn't going to upload data to a social media account. Now, could people take the steps to do it if they're dedicated enough? Yes, but it doesn't appear that would have been a frequent thing, given the fact that you probably had 1 or 2 bars out there. When I listened to the CETO call You could tell that the call dropped out several times. It seemed like they were having trouble at times hearing each other. So it is consistent. And anybody that travel out there that have gone to the 4th of July celebration, they know that the reception is not very great. So the videos.
That don't make sense, because if that's the case, how was we able to hear the 911 dispatcher call crystal clear?
That they showed me in call logs were things that were not associated to social media, that they never posted on social media. It was, pictures and videos that they took on their phone.
Okay. Let me refine my question.
Uh-oh.
I take it from your last answer that the answer is yes, you had reception on Horn Island.
Yes, I did have reception on Horn Island.
We just played that CETO call. It's 2 words, SEATOW, and it's kind of insurance that people have that are boat goers. And if you have a problem, CETO will come and tow you back to the mainland.
Get them.
They said they had a problem. They said they were taking on water. One of your takes is that all the chatter that we're hearing, wake up, Nolan, are you dead, Nolan, wake the F up, Nolan, could be referring to the battery, the bilge on the boat, that it's all unclear. Regarding the boat being disabled, apparently it was not.
At 9:56 a.m., the boat leaves the original dock.
What she's about to go over is, if they were sinking, why the hell did they do all this driving around in the boat if the bilge pump went out and if they were sinking? Understand, when they were speaking to that dispatch, she asked them, how far is the water in your boat? Did not answer, y'all.
That from the real TikTok detective. The boat wasn't sinking. They told CETO it was sinking. What's the truth? Was it sinking and they repaired it? Did they have a leak and they repaired it and kept on SOP? Bruh. Brandon Tatum joining us, former cop, now star of The Officer Tatum. Did the young man explain those travels we just identified?
Yeah, 100% they did that. I wish that people on the internet would have had an opportunity, and they can go look at the interview that I did with Warren, but they had an opportunity to actually talk to these young men to get this in perspective, because some people have no idea how boats function and how they work. They explained to me, they took me on a boat and showed me exactly where they went, where they docked, where did they, stop at, how did they get the bilge pump and the water out of the boat, and all of the above. So they were sinking, they were taking on water, the water came up high enough.
Did the young man explain those travels? That
the batteries weren't working. They had to get a tow to kind of tow them out.
Did the young man explain those travels?
Where you could see the young lady saying about 3 miles out. It's a complicated boat's jargon, but they ended up getting the boat out. They ended up getting it to the point where they could run the boat, run the water out of the boat through a hole in the boat that they ended up plugging. They explained all this. Anybody that does boating know exactly what they're talking about if you hear them explain it on the interview. So they have an explanation for all of these things. And not only that, Nancy, they showed me video of them on the boat, and Nolan was not on the boat. Nolan was not on the boat log, and there are people who saw Nolan on the island closer to around 6 p.m., which is far after they left, far after this phone call was made. I saw text messages from the young lady that Nolan was with, the young lady named Katie. I saw her text messages. In her text messages, she said that she heard the boys yelling for Nolan to get on the boat. He did not. She said in her text message that she did not see Nolan get on the boat he came on, which was Wyatt's boat, which is the boat that was sinking and they ended up leaving on. So it wasn't just a statement that they made on a podcast. They were actually showing me evidence to the contrary of what the mainstream YouTubers and some media outlets are putting out to people at large. And so I wish that people would go watch the interview, or at least take some time to listen to these.
We did listen to the interview. We listened to it and broke it apart and seen that he was lying. If you don't believe me, this is a former Army interrogator. He breaks down the interview with Nolan Wells' fake friend. He poked holes all through this joint.
I met his father, and I mean, in 8th grade, that's when Nolan and I got really close. It was COVID year, and we were in class all year long together, me and a couple of my buddies. And
we were in class all year long together, me and a couple of my buddies. Every time he mentions Nolan, I want you to notice that every time this guy mentions Nolan, he ropes in the friend group. He has to rope in the friend group because his relationship with Nolan is not this best friend, like a brother relationship that he's presenting it to be, which is why mom doesn't really know him, because really Nolan was just in the friend group, the general group of friends. It was an associative relationship, which is why the only way he can honestly give an answer right now is to rope in the friend group.
Nolan and I just got super tight because we'd get a Waffle House once a week together, eat, and I mean, we were just super, super close.
That's the first personal example he's given this entire interview, is them meeting at Waffle House. That's what a personal example looks like when you're talking about a friend.
But his dad would swing by Waffle House, and hang out around us, but never, I was never around Nolan's parents a lot, but I mean, that didn't change our relationship any. Nolan and I were still just as close, and he was just as close with my friends as, anyone else. So,
as anyone else, because it's an associative relationship. Me and Nolan were just as close, and he was just as close with my friends as anyone else. He always has to bring in the friends because it's a friend group associative relationship.
I just wanted to prove that people are watching the interviews, people are listening to what they got to say, and they see the lies.
Or at least Benjamin Crump would have taken the time to reach out to the lawyers or reach out to these young boys to get their statements, so they're not wasting their time sending everybody on a rabbit trail when they could have just talked to these boys. And they could have, but they refused, because I saw a message from Warren where he called Nolan's mom twice. I've seen messages from Warren's stepmother, Ashley, where she sent Nolan's mom a text saying, please reach out to me whenever you're ready. I would like to talk. Other parents I saw messages from who reached out to Nolan's mom saying, we need to talk. Can we talk? I'm available if you need to talk to us. I do not understand at this point.
Why didn't he mention when Nolan Wells' mother stood on that podium and corrected herself and said they did reach out? Why didn't he mention that?
And she ended up calling me, and I think I spoke with the mother. She put me on speakerphone, and I was like, hey, yes, I'm Christine, I'm Nolan's mom.
Why didn't he mention that? Because he wanted to paint this negative picture around them. That's why, y'all.
Why Benjamin Crump would go out and put misinformation out online when he had the availability to talk to these kids and clear these things up like I did before he presented this to the public. We also reached out to Benjamin Crump 4 times. And on the 5th time, they come back and tell us that the family is not doing interviews. We didn't ask to talk to the family. We asked to talk to the attorney, Benjamin Crump. Why? So we can come together as a community and solve what happened to Nolan Wells, not create and stoke division, which is what I've seen from
Tatum,
Benjamin Crump.
That is exactly what we're trying to do. And I hear everything you're saying, and I think like a prosecutor. My main goal is to find the truth of what happened to Nolan Wells. And one thing I cannot get away from is the medical examiner. I'm trying to get to tonight's news, which I'm going to get to.
Let's go.
Randy and Bunny on TikTok have their interpretation of that. Watch this.
CETO Assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. We're going down now.
That from Randy and Bunny on TikTok.
There is too big of a gap between when Nolan Wells passed away and when y'all did y'all interviews. Why did y'all wait so long? And now how all of a sudden y'all got dates, y'all got times that you continuously mention? A regular person is not going to be able to remember all these damn times. Y'all practiced with that judge, allegedly with your stepmother, and now this is why you always repeating your dates. I want y'all to see how good she is.
Have the friends taken polygraphs?
Well, from my understanding, all but I believe one took a polygraph, and from what was told to me, that they all passed, and all of the ones that took a polygraph took one without a lawyer, and they cooperated with law enforcement. So from my understanding, everybody took a
Why do you say
polygraph
that's
test
from
but
what
one.
you understand? Did they tell you they took a poly and passed?
Yes, ma'am. They told me that they did it. I wasn't there, so that's why I'm saying from my understanding, they told me that all the boys except one, which is Warren, I believe, took a polygraph test. All of them did not have lawyers and did it and cooperated with police. Warren also cooperated with police. I just believe he didn't take a lot to take the test, but Warren is the young man that I interviewed. So according,
one of the most important persons that we need to take a polygraph test didn't take it. This is all hearsay. We're going to get the truth on what happened to Nolan Wells. Check it out.
According to what they told me, they all took a lie detector test and passed. And it's an equivalent of a lie detector test. It's not a traditional lie detector test, but it's the same theology of trying to get to if a person is lying. I don't know the name of it. It's an equivalent of a lie detector test. It's a different methodology. I don't believe it was a polygraph test. I believe they took other stressors in order to analyze.
So then
she got him sweating.
The answer to did they take a polygraph would be no.
No.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
I think
Let's
it's
go.
semantics because they took a test to analyze whether or not they were being truthful in their statements, and that certified test, they passed it. It just wasn't considered a traditional polygraph. I think it's a more advanced way of doing it.
Tatum.
She not playing.
In a nutshell, Joe Scott, there is a difference between a polygraph, which measures all sorts of body signals, your sweat, your breathing, your heart, your blood pressure, all sorts of things, and an audio verification test. Big difference.
Well, basically, she was about to go into a guy who's an expert in polygraph tests and basically explain the reason why they take polygraph tests and the things that the polygraph test measures, the significance of it. This is why the polygraph test is trusted, and this is why people use it, because it measures all sorts of signals, blood, sweat, just like she just mentioned. But the test that they took, she was about to basically see that there's no way to prove that these guys was lying from the test that they took. So it's just a sham. Because why would y'all even take a polygraph test anyway? I mean, why would y'all take a test that's not a polygraph test if you try to figure out the truth anyway? And I mean, bro, like, I ain't gonna lie, I love this. I loved it because, like, finally somebody with the credibility and the platform, you know what I'm saying, like, proved that Officer Tatum is biased. And it's crazy because he black, but he biased towards us. Like, this shit is crazy. He on their side. He was literally better off coming on here telling the truth. Like, hey, man, that's them. Like, man, yeah, that's what but look, yeah, they ain't take no polygraph test. I don't know what's up with that. Yeah, they ain't asking none of the questions. Like, I don't know what's up with that. Like, bro, I would have just went on there and answered her questions truthfully. That way it would have looked like, bro, I ain't trying to cover for them. Because that's exactly what it looked like. You covering for them. You're trying to paint them in the good light while simultaneously painting Benjamin Crump and the Nolan Wells family in a negative one. But like, she just proved him to be incompetent all the way around and just, like, suspicious. Because for one, he never explained the boat logs. She basically asked him, like, bro, if they made a distress call to Cito to get towed out because they said that they were sinking, you feel me? And And then after they leave Horn Island, they got logs for going different places for over probably like 3 hours. And this is all supposedly why Nolan Wells is dead and missing. So she was asking him, like, okay, so what happened? Did they plug the boat? Did they fix it? What happened? He never even touched on it. He dodged it completely and went around to something else. He literally dodged her question and then start promoting his own interview. Like, yeah, y'all need to go watch the interview. I wish people just watched the interview. Like, people didn't see that shit. And that's kind of dumb to think people didn't watch the interview anyway, when you know people gonna watch it just to see if they were lying or not. A lot of people wanted to see what those kids had to say because they never had spoken up until that point. Then while they was playing the audio for the distress call, basically the video was a lady on a boat showing how to determine how much water is in the boat when you're sinking, and essentially just how to answer the questions that the dispatcher was asking the guy who called. Because for some reason he was acting like he couldn't hear, or he couldn't answer the question, or he didn't understand the question. So that lady specifically was just showing how easy it was to understand what she was saying and answer her. Not only was she even asking him questions, but at times she even gave him examples to go off of. So when she put a foot in the hole, they measure it by the ankle, I guess, when you say it's ankle length. So it's kind of quite simple, because a person that never been on a boat like that one, and I'm one of them, understood exactly what she was trying to demonstrate. Then what I just found as suspicious was, I found suspicious he had to keep saying, like, yeah, everybody understood what they were saying. Like, when she kept asking him, like, yeah, did they explain this, that, or did they show you this, that? He was like, yeah, they did, and everybody understood it. Everybody got it. Everybody. So if everybody got it, then why we still got questions? Everybody didn't get it. And in fact, that's why you were saying everybody got it, because you know everybody didn't get it. And you probably don't want them to ask you questions that make you elaborate, because you have no details for elaboration if they explain what they showed you. So I just found that suspicious, like he was just trying to persuade us to think like, oh yeah, we understood what they said and we got an explanation for it, which we don't. But he basically choked. She dug all the way in his ass like a G-string. And that's because he was out of his element, kind of like how Big Boy was on when 6ix9ine asked him about, was in his ass about that Atlanta shit. You wasn't expecting those type of questions, or you wasn't expecting her to go that deep on you, because you used to know challenges. On just like Big Kish said, on his platform he can say what he want and people just gonna accept it, because his audience probably not gonna question him anyway. They all got the same ideals and the same perspective, so they gonna agree with him most of the time anyway. But that's exactly why he got a taste of his own medicine, and that's exactly why he looked as stupid as fuck, because you was not prepared for this. There's no rehearsal for the truth, gang. So no matter what lies they spewing or they trying to uphold or rehearse, bro, if you ask those right questions that they haven't prepared for, you are going to see the stutters. You're going to see the mix-ups. You're going to see them get stuck. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, man. Shout out to Big Kish once again, gang. Let me know what y'all think about Nancy Grace folding his ass. Cause that's exactly what he get, in my opinion. You sitting up here lying for people. Then the people you lying for is not even your people. Shit crazy. Lady lost her son. Y'all sitting there antagonizing her, trying to demonize and victimize her, bro. All because she trying to get answers. And then framing them for the behaviors that y'all committing. You framing them for the crimes that y'all committing. It's crazy though. But let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. As always, if you like the video, hit that like button. And if you made it this far, man, go ahead. Don't be too shy to hit that like and subscribe button. Get notified when I drop a new video or an update y'all on the old one. We're on our way to 250 subscribers. Thank you all for tapping into the channel. It's another episode of T Whistle Reactions. It's already long, so I'm going to just cut it short. I love y'all. I'm gonna see y'all in the next video though. Thank you for watching.
She didn't have to cut me off.